Hey guys, it's Megan Aller in sales here in Metro Denver with First American Title, here to give you your weekly Wednesday update about the attached Metro Denver market for all of the closed transactions from October of 2019. Now keep in mind that we did have resolution to our builder defect laws about 2 years ago, and we're starting to see some of the first waves of those new construction units in our attached market making their way into our inventory. And when that happens, typically what happens is we start to see an increase of the resale units hang out in the marketplace a little bit longer, and some of those under contract units getting sucked up by resale, or by new construction rather than resale. Now, as we look at our attached single family market, typically is what has happened in the last 7 years without the impact of that resolution to builder defect laws is our active inventory declines very rapidly, but our demand has remained consistent. And what that had created in the past was this additional pop of appreciation that we could expect to see in October, November, and December. Keep in mind that we've been experiencing roughly 25 to 33% additional inventory in our market nearly every single month in 2019. And while our under contract units have carried along with that, seeing more units placed under contracts, servicing some of that pent up demand, this time our active inventory is only up 7% over where we were 1 year ago. So our active inventory started to drop off very rapidly this year versus where we were in previous months in this cycle. Under contract units were also up by 10.8%. Again, the relationship between supply and demand doesn't change if supply goes up and if demand goes along with it. And so we still remain in extreme seller's market territory, with the exception of a couple regions here in Metro Denver. We'll talk about that in just a couple of seconds. Now again, what's going to happen is that our active inventory will continue to decline through the end of the year, and we'll see what happens with our demand. If people continue to purchase those properties based off of our low interest rate, we could see that little pop of additional price as we go into that last portion of 2019. Now, usually what happens in our attached market as well, most buyers have the most number of choices available to them in the marketplace as we go into September and October. By the time that we get into November and December, that relationship between supply and demand comes down, and we can actually start to see some additional bidding wars as we head into that last half of the year, as long as you're not in one of those areas that has a substantial amount of new construction. Now, our prices didn't hit quite the same threshold that we had seen in previous years. Typically, if we would have been on pace with where we would have been based off of previous years in the cycle, we should have come in at $373,000. We came in at $361,000, so we're about $12,000 shy, or about 3% of where we should be, 3 to 4%. Okay, now again, that's the resolution from builder defect laws with additional inventory coming into our marketplace. So here's the map that I wanted to share with you of Metro Denver, showing where we're most deficient in listings. If an area turns more red, you're likely to experience slower appreciation because buyers have more choices in that market. The market tends to start to favor the buyer at that point. Specifically, there's one little red wedge right in the middle of the map, and that's Lodo. Keep in mind that with the new construction that's happened with condos being released to market in that small area, that's absorbed a lot of the demand that we've had in the market, and we're not sure when that demand will start to rise again, but for the time being, there's actually an oversupply of listings that exists in that area by a very shallow fraction. Okay, so those homes are more likely to sell in the market for a longer period of time. They're more likely to experience price reductions or have to offer concessions. I hope that this information is helpful to you. I hope that if we're able to help you better advise your buyers and sellers, that we'll get to meet them at our closing tables at First American. We'll see you soon.